All right, we're going to take a look at the 4.0 trailer again. We're going to rewatch this. We did watch it initially for the live stream special program, but now that I can pause, rewind, collect my thoughts, theorize, etc., let's go back and break this down.
I'm not sure exactly when it began, but a prophecy has been circulating around Fontaine. The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne.
What the fuck kind of prophecy, bro?
I, Focalor, hereby welcome you to the nation of Hydro and acknowledge the value and significance of your trip. Now, you may rejoice in this.
She's so bratty, dude. She's like, please praise the ground we walk on. I want to know what this is, actually. This looks pretty tranquil and kind of excluded from everywhere else. It's like a random house surrounded on all sides by, like, there's like a waterfall in the background, a waterfall on the side, trees on all sides. It kind of looks like it's like within like a cavern, not a cavern space, but like a valley space. It's very witch's house kind of aesthetic. I wonder if there's any significance to this place at all. I wonder if we're going to learn anything more about the Hexen Circle. Because one of the Hydro sets, I think the new Hydro set has like a teacup or something like that, and the name of it kind of reminds me of like a witch's teacup, like the tea parties that they do. I love this. This right here, this is such a beautiful scenery. The flowers. Someone obviously is drawing the landscape over here. This is such a beautiful location. New mob. This seems like, okay, so this is where the Melazine live, I believe. Yeah, you see them over there. I feel like these little creatures are going to be kind of similar to the Aranara, potentially, with like a world quest significance, maybe. I was expecting maybe the Lockfolk would be more of a world quest focus, just because they were like the previous like governing creatures that inhabited Fontaine, but because they left, I thought they would come back, or there would still be some that live within the borders of Fontaine for specific reasons, but it seems like the Melazine might be the equivalent to like the Four Winds, the Adepti, the Yokai, the Aranara, etc. So we might see more of them in the future.
I want to spend some time at the bottom of the sea.
Who says that, bro? I want to be as far away from people as possible in the most dank and darkest part of the world, the bottom of the ocean, with nothing but me and my thoughts. I feel that sometimes. Yeah, I think he's gonna be my favorite of the new characters that come out this patch.
Going under!
I love that. I love that he puts his helmet on.
If you look up at the sky from far enough underwater, even the sun is soft on the ice. These fossils are all that's left of these beautiful creatures.
Whoa. Yo, you know what I just noticed? If you look at that structure, that kind of looks like an oceanid. It like swoops up. That looks like an oceanid, actually. Holy fuck. And then the text too, these fossils are all that's left of these beautiful creatures. So that could be anything. Like we've seen skeleton structures of like ocean creatures on Watatsumi Island, or it could be talking about deceased oceanids potentially, like Lockfolk creatures. But yeah, that literally looks like an oceanid. So we might actually get more lore on the Lockfolk here, actually, to some extent.
I wonder how long before the rest of the world becomes part of this underwater museum too.
Damn. Yeah, not too long, kid. Yeah, this right here. Who is this? It's either that or this is another oceanid potentially. But I wonder if it's more of an oceanid. Yeah, the way that they're talking to, I wonder. Wait, who am I?
Who am I?
I was so blind. I did not know this was a world boss. Like, what the fuck? That's so crazy that they revealed that in the freaking trailer, that this was a world boss. I don't know what this was. I thought this was like a cutscene playing.
Find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately?
So, it seems like this scaling structure seems to be a mechanism that has a consciousness that directs judgment accurately, which gives me, this is so closely related in my eyes to how the Akasha system works. It's powered by the dreams of the people, the subconscious dreams of people. But this actually has like, you know what, this kind of gives me like Psycho-Pass vibes, kind of. Like, for anyone who's seen Psycho-Pass the anime, it kind of works similarly, where the Sybil system is like a connection of consciousness that calculates and predicts behaviors in people that can prevent crimes before they happen, or like convict somebody before they do a crime because they know they would have done a crime had they not been stopped. You can kind of basically arrest someone and be like, oh yeah, we predicted that you're about to commit a crime like a week from now, and we're gonna prevent that by just arresting you now. You know what I mean? So I wonder if this is potentially Gnosis powered, right? Like if the Hydro Archon uses her Hydronosis, or if there's any type of consciousness of some lock folk. Maybe if there's like a lock folk. I wonder if there was like a leader of the lock folk, potentially. You know, like how Rex Lapis is the prime Adeptus, he's the leader of the Adepti. I wonder if there's like an equivalent for the lock folk, and maybe the consciousness of them is within this, or part of the Hydro Archon's consciousness, or the previous one potentially. I don't know, because I know her consciousness is tethered to the Harvest Takum, so I don't know how that would work. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious on how that could potentially work. The Hydro Dragon, I know that there's like Hydro Dragon lore. There's a dragon for every element, for every nation. We have a Pep, we have Dvalin, we have Andrius, but they usually save the dragon reveals for the Part 2 Archon quest. So unless this Oratrice thing gets answered now, we might have to wait till Focalor's Part 2 quest to get that. But yeah, we have to wait and see.
We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately?
Another thing I thought of is the research, Renee's research investigation when they went to Tunigi Hollow. Remember how they said the energy of Conria had a will within it? And we speculated that that will could have been the will of the sinner, right? The Abyss Sinner. I wonder if that could be it. If there's like, I don't know if it's the sinner, or if it's like, if they found a way. Yai Miko does that. Yai Miko was able to put A's consciousness within Makoto's sword. So like that concept is possible outside of everything going on with the will of the so everything besides like the will of the abyss, that's, you know, that's aside from that, it is possible in the world of Teyvat to put your consciousness in objects. So someone could have done that. I just don't know what the significance of whoever's consciousness that is, if it's a collective web of consciousness, if it's like other people, if it's one specific entity, and it seems like they are universally in charge of passing judgment. So it's interesting too, because it doesn't seem like, seems like at the end of the day, they have this entire spectacle in the courtroom, and then at the end of the day, it's this machine with a conscience that decides if they're innocent or guilty. And if they think the Traveler is guilty, why do they think that? And if they are opposing us, then why are they opposing us? Like, us of all people. I'm wondering, I'm very interested to learn more about the lore of this thing too.
Rain. It's raining.
Also, is that a bad omen for it to be raining in the Water Nation?
We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that.
Actually, that's fucking crazy! It never rains in the cities! Oh my god, that's actually wild, canonically. It never oh my god, I literally just, it was like a minute. It was like, wait a minute, hold on. Why is that so important? And I was like, wait a minute, it never rains! Oh my god! What is happening? It took like a second for it to click for me. Oh my god. Are you telling me that I'm gonna have to deal with rainstorms in the middle of the city during the Archon quest? Oh, wow. Holy shit, Navia. She's been like, what is this? I've been playing Genshin my whole life. It's never rained in the city. Oh, that's a big fucking deal. What the hell does that mean?
It's raining.
Hydro Traveler in the cutscene. Yeah, Hydro Traveler in the cutscene right there. You got the blue accent. That shit looks so clean.
What happened?
So, like, how do we end up getting in trouble for that? Like, we were in the fucking audience watching the show.
Charges have now been pressed.
I feel like it's kind of a similar thing to, right, the right of dissension, right? Rex Lapis has been assassinated. And then just because we're leaving the event, it's like, oh, we got close to that. Maybe we're gonna be suspects. And then we just, it's like, bro, like, this is some sketchy ass assumptions. It's like, hey, you look suspicious. You must be guilty. Get him. I'm like, really, bro? And then Childe saves us. And then lo and behold, we're getting freaking accused of crimes again, and Childe's out here trying to save us.
A trial is in order. Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know.
Oh my god.
The protection of the guards.
Dear God.
Holy shit. Guard mechs. This is such a hype sequence. I love how she's got her like her freaking mobster, like Yakuza, like bodyguards with her. That shit looks so clean.
It's a whole army of Gardamex.
I believe this is indeed the finale.
This is just Act 1.
Justice, your beloved drama, while turning a blind eye to the suffering of the people.
There it is.
The value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear.
Woo! Bro, Childe.
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke.
Wow.
You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
Damn, Childe knows how to make an intro, bro. Yeah, so she's deciding, fuck the people. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. And in doing so, she basically forsakes her rules. She forsakes her obligation. She forsakes her government. It seems like Neuvillette might potentially be running things now behind the scenes. I don't know if it's his consciousness that is tethered to the justice scale system, right? Because he's right above it. And like, he's obviously the one that's kind of controlling the order of the court. Yeah, I wonder why the Hydro Archon is so passive in everything that's happening in her nation. It's so like we know why it was similar with A, like her version of Eternity was very warped compared to like the ideal way of moving forward with her people. But compared to the previous Hydro Archon, I think we need to know more about the previous Hydro Archon before we can pretty much delve into the contrasting factors of Focalors. But yeah, like that also kind of low-key seemed a little bit staged, right? It's like a staged performance, but Lynette got trapped in the water. I don't know if the water like boiled or if she just like lost her breath, like if like box didn't open or something in the act didn't go according to plan. And then we got blamed for that some reason. I hope Yanfei comes through to help us because, you know, I've been saying that for a while that I really would love it if Yanfei comes into the second or third act, kind of defend us against the legal system. I think that would be pretty cool. I also think above all of this melodrama and everything that's happening in the nation, I think there's clearly a tragic underside to Focalors with this prophecy that in the end, everyone is going to be swept away into the waters and only Focalors will be left by herself. And I don't know...
Be dissolved into the waters and only...
And she's crying in this trailer too, which makes me wonder if her connection to the previous Hydro Archon was like familial, like if that was her mom or something, and she's like the daughter without a mother that is now running amok with no one to guide her, no one to tell her what to do. She has all the authority and power as the new Archon. And I think it has to be something close or something into an intimate relationship like that, because A and Makoto were siblings. Rukadevada and Nahida are basically a Samsara reincarnation cycle. And so I'm thinking what connection would Focalors in the previous Hydro Archon have? Focalors kind of acting kind of bratty, kind of immature, kind of childish. It kind of seems like she has no parental figure to really help her through any of this, and all of this entertainment and drama and craziness that's happening, all of these serious allegations, these serious charges, and the justice and the law is seen as like a plaything to her. I feel like that's a coping mechanism similar to how A's coping mechanism was to detach herself from the world and let a robot control her nation so that way she can meditate and distance herself from her feelings and all the stuff that happened to her in the past. I don't know who this Neuvillette guy is. I don't know where he comes from. I don't know how he's kind of brought up. I'm also wondering if any of these characters that we've seen so far is an Oceanid, because after doing the Bottleland event and meeting Idea, we do know that the Oceanid can shapeshift and change their forms. So I'm also curious. That's why I'm gonna hone in on any time there's a character in the overworld. If there's any also, she has two different colored eyes. I don't know if that's relevant at all, right? I don't know if that's based on genetics of maybe the previous Hydro Archon has similar eyes. I don't know. But yeah, she's got heterochromia, so she's got two different colored eyes, and the Lockfolk also can change their appearance. I don't know if all of them have blue eyes, blue hair. And she's the Hydro Archon, so I expect her to kind of have a similar status to the Lockfolk in terms of being like a water entity. So she's got the blue eyes. She's got like the blue tints in her white hair, or the blue streaks in her white hair. So I'm expecting all of that to kind of come together as well. It could imply her different personalities too, if she has like 2 different personalities, because that also reminds me of Akashi Seijiro from Kuroko no Basket, one of my favorite animes of all time. He also had 2 different colored eyes, which represented a change in personality for him as well. So I also wonder, I don't remember what the hypostasis mention or the hydro gemstone refers to. I know the hydro gemstone refers to like I guess like my judgment is like the most noblest or something like that, basically implying that she can do no wrong. So I don't really know what the connection there is with all of that and how it connects to understanding her motivations or her past or her trauma or her, you know, the tragedy that she may have gone through similarly during the 500 years after Conria. But I'm sure we'll figure it out, and I'm very, very fast. I'm very interested to learn more because this nation seems like it's going to be a lot to take in. Just the environment here is very interesting. I wonder if this is like a moment during the Cataclysm, actually, because you see like the destroyed bridge, like the dirty black water, and like the very black and white, like horror-based situation. It's also raining here too, which is seemingly an omen of things to come. So this could also be a moment of the past from Focalor's perspective after becoming the new Hydro Archon, potentially.
But a prophecy has been circulating around Fontaine.
And it seems like
the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne.
Yeah, that also kind of, I wonder if like that means like they're gonna flood, if they're gonna be flooded into the ocean.
I, Focalor, hereby welcome you to the nation of Hydro.
I wonder though. Oh my god, the design under her shoe looks great. No, that's not a step on me thing. I'm not telling her to step on me. Behave yourselves, chat. I also wonder if there is like a split personality situation going on with her, because you would think if she went through something this tragic and like to the point where it's causing her a lot of grief and suffering for a prophecy of that sort to come true for her. I wonder if she, like, again, not to bring up Akashi again, but Akashi Seijiro, his second personality was always there. It was built off of fear of losing things, and that personality that was built on fear came forth and pushed his old personality behind. And I'm wondering if something similar is happening with Focalor's, which is implied by the change of her eye color. Because we don't see what her eyes look like in that opening shot, but now we see it that they're both different, which could imply like a change in personality, almost kind of like a defense mechanism. It could also imply it could also be like maybe she has a part of another person within her, because I know that Tales of Grace's F does that, where one of the characters has like another entity bond with them or join them, and it changes their eye color as well. So she could have a part of the previous Hydro Archon residing within her, and that could be represented by the different eye color change as well. So there's a bunch of different takes that they could be. They could be a psychological thing. It could be a personality thing. It could be the fact that there's 2 versions of her or 2 sides of her or 2 entities within her. There's a lot of different ways that they can go about this, but I really would love it if it was kind of like a mother-daughter situation, something of that familial nature, where I would love it if, like, when we go to Snezhnaya, if Bronya and Zila are like the past and present Cryo Archon, and that familial relation and that intimate relationship of that region is based on love. I don't know what Natlan's representation of that would be with Himiko Murata and whatever new Pyro Archon there is, or old Archon there was. Like what that relationship would be. Maybe master and apprentice, like student and teacher. That would be another interesting pairing as well. But I just wonder if there's something deeper here regarding these 2 Archons. This Archon and the previous one that came. Yeah, it could also be Cocolia and Bronya, but I feel like a lot of people relate Cocolia, La Signora, because right, Cocolia died in Star Rail, La Signora died in Inazuma, so on and so forth. I don't know. I just think that the love aspect of Zila and Bronya's story, which is in Honkai Impact 3rd, which is in Honkai Star Rail, I would like that to persist and continue on in Genshin by the time we get there as well. And losing a loved one, someone you love, a lover, whatever you want to call it, a partner, I feel like that would be a great motivation for whoever the current Cryo Archon is compared to the previous one. Similarly, like if it was Zila, if Zila was the previous one and now Bronya is the new one, or if Bronya was the previous one and now Zila is the current one. I think that would be really cool.
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke.
I really want to know who this guy is. He's got, I don't know if those are Conria eyes now that I look more closely. I remember when we first saw his design, a lot of people were under that suspicion, but he also has like pointy ears, so I don't think he's exactly human. He could be a Lockfolk for all we know. He's got like the little blue strips in his hair. He's got like the cascade jewel around his neck. It looks kind of rainbow colored. I don't know if he might be a Lockfolk. Vishat person? We haven't seen those. Those haven't been brought up since 2.5, for Christ's sake. I don't even know if Hoyoverse remembers those characters. I mean, you know what would be fucking wild though? Hold on, I'm cooking real quick. What would be fucking crazy is what if Neuvillette is a Vishat person who wants revenge against humans for what they did to like their species. And so he's sabotaging everything slowly but surely. And he's actually a Vishat person controlling a whole nation by himself. While like, that would actually be kind of pog. That would be fucking goated. Holy shit. Because they haven't brought up Vishat people since Sumi during the Three Realms Gateway offering like a year and a half ago. And I'm like, right? And what would be cooler too is what if he is the reincarnate? Well, they said that it's reincarnated a human, so maybe he could potentially be a Hydro Dragon reincarnated for this nation. That would be even crazier because he's at the head of a fucking nation. It's like, bro, you've worked your way from the freaking darkness of Enkanomiya and brought yourself into the light to the point where you are freaking running a whole nation. I don't know if that's going to be necessarily true, because if it is, they're essentially going to drop this entire man's lore once he becomes playable, and I don't know how that would work of having like the first playable Vishat person / dragon person thing. I don't know. Yeah, I do think it's Kokomi too, but I'm crack theorizing right now. Okay, let me cook, you know? He could be like a descendant of Nibelung for all we know. But I feel like he's more important because, like, bro, look at this shot right here. This man, it looks devious as hell. And I'm just like, bro, why do you look like that? What's really going on? I also feel like they might be setting me up. They're like, hey, we want him to look ominous and sinister and like he has nefarious intentions. But in truth, he's actually doing the best. He's actually like looking out for the nation's best interests. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like right now, I don't know what to trust. I don't know what to believe. It's like a magic show, literally. I'm looking at everything with my eyes, but like, what are my other senses telling me? I have no idea. But yeah, those are my thoughts, my theories, my speculations on 4.0 Fontaine. The trailer is super freaking pog. I'm excited for all the lore that we're gonna get. I hope we see more of the Melazine race. I hope we learn more about the Lockfolk and the Oceanids and you know, the energy system and the energy crisis that's here, what happened with the Institute, with everything that they learned from Conry and what they brought back and how that's building the infrastructure of their nation following the Cataclysm. I want to learn about the Cataclysm. I want to learn about previous Hydro Archon. I want to know about this Archon. I want to learn about their relationships with each other. I want to know if Celestia is ever going to fucking wake up. Shit goes down by the end of this patch or by the end of this Archon quest or by the time we get to Focalors Part 2. But yeah, and I really wonder what new nation, like what sub-region is going to be added here, because we get a sub-region for every other nation as well. So that's going to be really exciting too. But yeah, only time will tell. But I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked to learn about everything of this nation. I can't wait. And Childe's, and I would say too, Childe's appearance here is very interesting too, considering how he's only here for one of two reasons: to retrieve a Gnosis or to follow up on a comrade. But it seems like he's here to save us in a bind, who's in a bind, because it's like, maybe the Traveler is Childe's final goal, and he's like, I can't reach my ultimate goal of being the best and having the best fight of my life if the Traveler is in prison, or if the Traveler's journey is cut short. So he's coming through to offer his assistance in some way. But it seems like he's here to oppose the justice that's happening, or the injustice rather that's happening, maybe for us. And he's a harbinger, and Arlecchino is here, and Childe seems to be making moves, dude. He was in Liyue for his objective. He was in Inazuma to track down Scaramouche. I don't think he was present at all in Sumeru, but now he's back in another nation with another one of his comrades, another Gnosis at stake. And yeah, it's just very interesting to see him bouncing all over the place and getting in on the action whenever he can. But Childe's introduction is another one that I'm looking forward to as well. So I'm glad to have him back overall. Looks like he's going delusion mode on these fools, and you know, that'll be really interesting to see as things play out. But yeah, overall, very excited for everything.